You are Locked On Wolverines, your daily podcast on the Michigan Wolverines, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
All good things must come to an end, unfortunately. Locked On Wolverines podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. I am your man on the ground. Well, I'm your man in Ann Arbor at the moment. Isaiah Hole, publisher of Wolverines Wire through USA Today Sports Media Group. I am not in San Antonio, as you can see by my normal studio, I'm very impressive at being able to recreate the same look right at the arena. But Michigan does, in fact, succumb in the Sweet 16, unfortunately, as I predicted, but it was a game in which Michigan certainly had its opportunities. They lost, what was it? I don't have it up in front of me. We do need to get that up, but 65 to something. So not great, Bob, in the sense of the way that everything ended up going in the end. It just seemed like Michigan had so many opportunities, really struggled from the line. I do have a stat in front of me about just everything it did. 12 of 29 on dunks and layups and 7 of 14 from the free throw line. Lost by 8. Tells you everything you need to know. You know, it's not going to go well if that is how you play from the line. I mean, they play the way they did from the line. They play the way they did from the way that they did in the paint. In the paint for a while, it was looking real good. And then eventually it wasn't. Really good defensive effort for the Wolverines. Just absolutely solid defensively. Field goal-wise, not good offensively. Shot 44% in the first half and 34.4% in the second. Villanova, though, only shot 37.3%. And that number for Michigan really came down as it went on. As far as the plus-minus is concerned, you look at Moussa Diabate and Caleb Houston, that neither of them particularly did a great job there. That's why Brandon Johns was in. And I was having this conversation with a colleague and saying Brandon Johns was giving a heck of a defensive effort. He really gave a lot in that realm. They credited him with 2 blocks, but I know that there was another one that for whatever reason that didn't get counted in the blocks when I was watching the stats live. Michigan really good with 8 blocks in the game. Really everything that 6 blocks in the game, 8 turnovers. That's a vast improvement, especially when you look at the fact that Villanova ended up having 7 turnovers, and the defense really stepped up, getting 3 in the last couple minutes. But offense couldn't capitalize. It wasn't like Michigan wasn't hitting from 3, 6 of 18. You have to thank Eli Brooks for hitting 3 of those. But it just seemed like the rims were unforgiving, whether it was under the basket or there were several threes that looked like they were going down and then just didn't. Hunter Dickinson's primary attempt or only attempt, sole attempt. And then you just look at what happened as far as the production that Michigan got. It's, you got a little bit from Terrence Williams. That's about what you want. 2 points from Frankie Collins. I need to see more, especially, I mean, he still played 10 minutes. Not a lot, but I mean, would have liked to have seen at least 4 from him. 7 from Devontae Jones in 31 minutes. You need to see a little bit more from him. Moussa Diabate, 7. Caleb Houston, 5. Caleb Houston it looked like he hit his first 3 and then he missed the next 4. That's not great. And then you look at Brandon Johns, 0 for 2 from the line. Eli Brooks, 1 for 2 from the line. Moussa Diabate, 1 for 2 from the line. Frankie Collins, 0 for 2 from the line. Huge difference, right? Like, the game wasn't as lopsided as even the final score. It just got that way because Michigan was missing opportunities. I think the other place where it really struggled was getting the defensive rebounds. They didn't even, actually, weirdly, they still out-rebounded Villanova. They had 41-38. They still had more offensive rebounds, 14 to Villanova's 10, but those second chance points were huge for Villanova. absolutely massive. So that's where things become a little troubling, and I can't seem to pull up everything that I would like to see here, but nonetheless, let's see if this will tell me what I'm looking for. Second chance points. All right, this is a little convoluted, so we won't get into that, but Michigan had its opportunities, and that's, I think, what's going to really hurt about this game is that they had their opportunities and they just squandered them in a lot of ways. The free throws, I mean, that's something that's very 2018. That's something that we're used to seeing then. It's like Michigan is really struggling from the line. This year, it's been the opposite, right? Michigan has been a very, very good free throw shooting team. You felt good about them going to the line. But that wasn't the case in this game, unfortunately. Hunter Dickinson finished with a double-double in the end of the season game here. So, I mean, that's a bright spot, but is it the last time we see him? We'll see if NIL plays a difference. But certainly it's not, it was an okay performance from him. It wasn't his normal situation. He was 6 of 16 from the floor. We usually don't see him struggle as much as he did in that light. Eli Brooks really, really struggled until the lights got brightest when they absolutely needed him to hit. 5 of 14. Didn't hit a shot in the first half. Second half, electric. Excellent job by him in the second half when they needed it. But you know what? He was kind of the only one. And that's not the way you're going to win a game. All right. Let's continue talking about this game as much as we can here. But listen, so your pool is busted, you and everyone else. So your bracket's busted. I don't know what I'm saying. Bracket's busted, your pool, whatever. Don't worry, we believe in second chances. So do our friends at Run Your Pool. See, that was a slip. Round up your friends who picked Baylor, Kentucky, or any other high seed to win it all and start a Sweet 16 pool at runyourpool.com/lockedon. I'm guessing it would be something else now because we chose to do this after the game. Along with the Sweet 16 brackets, Run Your Pool offers squares pools, yes, like the Super Bowl, to keep things interesting every week of the tournament. Brackets bust, but the fun does not have to stop. They have options to edit scoring, and they offer more intel to make your picks, all the stuff you won't find at the big media bracket sites. If you're looking to expand your horizons, Run Your Pool has games for just about every sport, including the NBA, PGA, MLB, and even the Oscars. Once the madness ends, try something new. Plus, they offer full white glove customer support, custom branding, one of the easiest 3-minute setups you'll ever find. Clearly, we believe in Run Your Pool because we run Survivor and bracket contests there this year ourselves. We also have the Locked On Wolverines pool. I'll get to an update on that momentarily. Start your second chance Sweet 16 pool and more at runyourpool.com/lockedon. That's runyourpool.com/lockedon. All right. I love March Madness and those brackets, but I can't remember the last time I actually went deep or even won any money. I'm hedging my bets this year with Stat Hero's NCAA Pick'em contest. Stat Hero's NCAA single game Pick'ems pits the star players against each other, an amazing hybrid between fantasy and sports gambling. Take back control from those handicappers that always seem to have the advantage. Start focusing on the players you know best with a gameplay that doesn't rely on big spreads, long odds, or funky props. Stat Hero gives you the advantage, resulting in their gamers winning 4 times more often. Why? Because Stat Hero eliminates the mystery about who or what you are going up against. In addition to their pick'em games, they also have dozens of lineups you can comb through to take on head-to-head. They simply post sets of players for you to take on with sets of players you choose. Stat Hero is the easiest and fastest way to get your sports action fixed. The simple, sleek gameplay will have you playing in minutes. This is what daily fantasy was meant to be. So sign up for free right now at stathero.com/lockedon. Use the promo code LOCKEDON for 100% deposit match. That's stathero.com/lockedon. Use the promo code LOCKEDON for a 100% match. That's stathero.com/lockedon. Promo code LOCKEDON. Terms and conditions apply. All right, so we covered a lot of this, but and we're going to get to the grander what have you. I think I would not be surprised if we see everybody run it back. I thought Hunter Dickinson was on his way to being in a situation where he, like with what he did in the first couple games and what he started to do in the first half, I was like, Hunter Dickinson is unstoppable right now. he very well could, play his way into the draft. That had been one of those situations where it didn't really look like he was going to be drafted. But that second half, man, and I know it's not all going to be based on half, but it really, and some of it might have to do with the fact that he played on not a great team, and he was kind of the lone star, but he doesn't seem to be a guy that people are talking about. Still, he might really feel like he wants to go and do the NBA thing. Right now, though, Moussa Diabate and Caleb Houston need some work. I would be shocked if either of them went, because it seems like they both need some work. Moussa is both of them are very inconsistent. Caleb Houston, although he's gotten better defensively, certainly, and he certainly played a big part in this last game, he just isn't it's not the type of thing where you thought that, hey, these 5 stars could be one and dones. I think they can be extremely good next year, but they kind of felt like they were swimming a little bit, like you do. I still think the future for this team is bright. Frankie Collins, if he could stop fouling, because he wasn't that bad in this game, but as soon as he hit the floor, he got a foul within seconds, and it's like, yep, that tracks. Absolutely tracks. So if he could find a way to hone himself in, be a little bit more in control, then a lot more can happen. But obviously, you're going to lose Eli Brooks. You're going to lose Devontae Jones. Those are going to be tough losses, Eli Brooks in particular. And if they lose Hunter, that's not going to be great. So, anyhow, I still think that the future is bright for this team in the future because they do have a lot of talent and a lot that we haven't necessarily gotten to see a lot of yet. And I don't know if that not so deep bench is a product of guys still just developing, but you would like to see, like, okay, they've got guys coming off the bench that have been really good, but it really kind of hasn't been the case except for Terrence Williams, and I think that he's really taken a step forward this year. I think year 3 is going to be great for him, and then we'll see like how some of these other guys have developed that we haven't seen, the guys that redshirted, or the guys that didn't redshirt that we saw a little bit from, and like Kobe Buffkin. Remember, Jordan Poole really took a step forward in year 2. So I'm curious to see where the Wolverines go from here. But obviously, season's done. Was a disappointment. Wasn't what anyone expected or anticipated, given what they were projected to be. But the way the season played out, and the way the tournament played out, you can't be anything but happy about the fact that Michigan made it to a Sweet 16. It is unfortunate, though, that the way that the game went, it's going to be one of those things where you look at it and you say, what could have been? Like Michigan, for the most part, outplayed Villanova. Villanova hit a lot of threes, but they took a heck of a lot of threes. Doesn't help that you had what I tweeted, BS sequence, with Devontae Jones getting absolutely run over, tackled. Ball may not have even gone off of him, but, they can't check that at that stage. And suddenly Villanova has the ball. They score, and they give a phantom foul to Moussa Diabate in what was a pretty big swing, right? Should have been Michigan's ball with a Villanova foul, and suddenly I think that Michigan was only down 3 at that point. That's not ideal. So I think this is going to be one of those painful ones in the sense of it doesn't really feel like Michigan got outplayed. It's not like the last time they played Villanova in the national championship where it was just like, all right, Dante DiVincenzo is just an insane person. And I had that fear. I remember laying in bed watching earlier tournament games. I actually remember napping during a Villanova game in 2018 and it just being like, man, keep on hearing DiVincenzo. Wasn't that, this time. Michigan didn't turn the ball over that much. They didn't give up an abnormal amount of threes. The defense played wonderful, but the offense couldn't live up to the bargain. So Michigan's going to need to figure out a way moving forward to get some shooting, to figure out how it's going to do as far as that's concerned, because that is certainly a disappointment. That the offense is what let Michigan down here and down the stretch. I mean, opportunity after opportunity, and a lot of those were squandered. All right. Let's continue on, but before we do, let me tell you a little something about Built Bar. Y'all know how much I love Built Bar. I had 2 last night of the white chocolate cookies and cream. Good chance that I'll do the same thing again. They are so good. Help me hit my macros. It's everything that I want. If you don't know what Built Bar is, a protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. It's high protein, low calorie, low carb. They are delicious. They always have these special flavors, and those ones are always my favorite. Peanut butter brownie, coconut brownie chunk. Those are my 2 favorites personally, and I alternate between which one I like more. But I have put my money where my mouth is. I have spent a lot of money of my own buying dozens of boxes of Built Bar. So and that's not just talk. That's very much the reality of things. So do like me, go to Built.com, use the promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off of your next order of Built Bar. That's Built.com, promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off of your next order of Built Bar. All right, let's finish out here. Before we do, I do want to get to I meant to do this at the top of the last segment. So, looking at the leaderboard for Run Your Pool for the Locked On Wolverines bracket right now, SW Go Blue as 47 points is in the lead, can reach a possible 151 points. Has Arizona as the winner, predicted champion. So that's probably a safe bet. They've got the most possible points left in our Run Your Pool bracket. I am in third place, second place, tied with Joe Boggs and WLB NHR. We all have 44, but both me and WLB NHR have Gonzaga as our predicted champion, and they went down today to Arkansas. So that ain't happening. So there's one other person that has Gonzaga as the potential winner down near the bottom, and Viking Boy 11. So unfortunately, we are probably not going to win. Everyone else has teams that are still in it, but I mean, certainly some can be eliminated. Arizona is currently down 5-2 to Houston, which would really hurt SW Go Blues' chances. Trent Knoop, who you might remember from the mailbag, is in sixth place, but he can have more than double the points that I currently have. So he's got Duke, but I don't know why he's only like 3 points behind me. So that he didn't have. I don't even see why, but nonetheless, I think it's probably because I did not have Michigan advancing, so I've got more points. But nonetheless, fun times doing the brackets. It's amazing how you feel like you're going to be pretty close and you never are. So what do I think about the season now that it is over? I like I said, I think that it ended up being a success in the sense of, hey, they got to go to the NCAA tournament. It felt like anything from there might be gravy, considering they were considered maybe a potential, team that wasn't going to get a bye. They had to play in all this kind of stuff. They get in the 11th. They prove they belong, and that's the great thing. Would have liked to have seen them go to the Elite Eight for a second straight year, because that really would have cemented Michigan's status as just a team like, hey, it doesn't matter how bad the season is. They get there, like it's, and even then, I mean, the fact that they got a couple wins, I mean, it's not, Juwan Howard isn't quite Tom Izzo territory at this point, but I mean, he's been doing a really good job. And even though this season didn't work out, I still think that he's doing a fantastic job. And sometimes you're going to have these bad seasons, and maybe they'll figure out a way. And we've got some good freshmen coming in as well. Maybe they'll figure out a way to get things kind of moving in the right direction. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the Sweet 16 again next year. I wouldn't bet against it. So it's disappointing that this season didn't play out the way that it thought. But I mean, the fact that Michigan got this far in the tournament, that kind of vindicates what happens in the regular season. And it's one of those things too with the regular season. It just shows you it doesn't matter that much in the grand scheme. Like, yeah, you want to win the Big Ten championship. And it was a lot of fun last year watching them, just kind of roll through everybody. But in a way, I mean, they almost got to the same spot. And it's unfortunate that they did not get there this year, that they were not able to survive, advance, and go forward. But it's the fact that they got into the second weekend, that's a giant win for Michigan. That's a giant win for the program. And that's really the most you can ask for, just given the way that the season ended up going. So hopefully that will continue. But for now, we focus on spring football, which we have a couple more weeks left of, and women's basketball, which is still going, and hockey and all of those things, which we don't normally talk about on the show. Maybe we'll start. I don't know. Anyway, that is going to do it for us today. Disappointing end of the season, but still heck of a finish overall. So thank you to the Michigan basketball team. We will see you again in November, which from cold to cold, we skip all the warmth. Anyway, so that'll do it for us. Well, thank you for watching and or listening. We will talk to you soon. Peace.